Hey everybody, welcome to Wing Chun DC tutorial number 6. Today you're going to be talking about the purpose of yielding and some short exercises to help you sort of practice that kind of concept. So yielding, basically what you're using yielding for as a tool when you're doing Chi-Sao fighting is by not presenting a solid object for the person to hold on to, right? So you can move someone back in Wing Chun. The stiffer somebody is, the more that if you hit them, it's going to impact them more. Or if you push them, it's going to impact them more. You're going to see them fly back more. So when you're doing your Chi-Sao, or when you're practicing sticky hands techniques or sparring, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the other person to basically stiffen up, right? So the more movements you do, the more they have to react. The more they have to react, the more that they can go out of, they can kind of tense up. So if I'm throwing a lot of techniques at the other person, what often happens is they start to panic and the body stiffens up, and then as soon as it stiffens up, you can hit or you can push them, and that's when you're going to see people go flying. If you get the timing right. So everything is a timing issue, creating leverage and force. A lot of this is timing, right? So you have to think about yielding in those kind of terms, right? So if that holds true, you want to take that away from your opponent. You want to take away their ability to find you stiffened up, right? So that means you have to practice yielding a lot. So one really good way of doing this is to go through offensive techniques in Wing Chun, and then reverse them. You have to reverse engineer them, right? Because ultimately the end of you tense in Wing Chun at the moment of impact, right? So everything is relax, and then boom, okay? That's when I tense up and I deliver impact, I deliver power. So everything is relax. As soon as there's contact, I push there, my body connects, right, and creates that force. Okay, so a good way to train it then is to train the inverse, right? So is to practice those offensive moves and then re-engineer them so that you can dissipate them, right? So let's say I'm throwing a punch, okay? So my punch, I connect to the floor, put my heel to the floor, elbow in front, okay? I'm going to punch out there. That's my connection. I connect there. So I'm going to just imagine that as soon as I connect, someone is going to then put pressure, pushing back on me, right? So how do I throw a punch out, and then how do I make that punch collapse, right? So I make that punch collapse by I just imagine someone pushing in, look, I'm going down, so that I yielding, right? This is yielding energy there. I can sink it down. That gives me some time to recapture my my structure or regain my composure. So I'm yielding here, then I can catch it and give it back, right? So there's a punch and then there's a yielding after that, right? You do the same thing. Let's say you do a bong sao, right? I block here at the end, look, from there. At the top of the bong sao, right? Everything connect, I interconnect, my body interconnects, I root to the floor, I create pressure going this way, boom, like that. So now let's reverse engineer that. So then someone puts pressure back onto me. How do I then collapse that, right? So then it collapses here. I re-get it, I come underneath, and I can throw it back out, right? You can do it with palm strikes as well. So a palm strike here, connect at the end there. That's when I create my leverage there. Then I pretend someone's pushing back. I catch it here, and go back out like that, right? You can do more extreme versions of it as well. I could punch here, boom, someone pushes back here, and imagine I just turn all the way back. So the person follows this punch and it just disappears, right? So now I've yielded completely. I haven't even bothered trying to catch that force coming into me, right? Saying someone pushes here, someone pushes me here, boom, 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 I just go all the way, right? That and yield, okay? But let's say the inverse of that would be, if everyone's seen the Conor McGregor fight against Donald Cerrone, where he uses a shoulder strike, boom, there. The inverse of, so I can hit with the shoulder, that's perfectly valid. That's just using your body structure to hit someone, boom, here. And then the inverse of that would would be to yield completely, or yield, capture, throw back. So do that, practice everything. You could do it with a futsal here, coming out, extends there, pushes in, catch it, or turn it like that. So every offensive move, even double punching here, like this, double punch here, yield, come back, like that, shift to one side, here, yield, come back, that, punch, yield, turn, right? So you can take every single offensive move that you do in Wing Chun and reverse it, right? So that's homework, all right? Go through every chops, anything you want, okay? But practice the opposite of it. So let's say I do a chop to the neck here. What would be the inverse of that? Would be total collapse of that hand here, and then it would come back, right? Push, and it yields, right? So the opportunities and or the sort of variables here are just kind of limitless, right? So you practice what one is hard and one is soft, and then you can do, this would be, we'll do this in another session, but obviously the middle ground of that would be if I punch here and someone pushes back and I manage to capture it as they push back in, and I can connect it again, right? That's the sort of middle ground between the yin and the yang, right? That's the center point there, right? So obviously that's like very, very high level if you're able to do that. You're yielding and giving force at the same time, basically, right? So that's the kind of ultimate sort of point you want to reach in martial arts, is to find that, is to have that complete balance of energy where you're right in the middle. But for now, we've got to get there somehow, so you have to practice the two extremes, the stiffening and the yielding, right? So practice that, and we'll go over more of this kind of stuff in the next session. All right, thanks everyone, see you soon.